Hey guys, today I'm going to keep the video short and sweet and just dive into clean labeling. I will repeat one area, of course, and bear with me as at the beginning of these series, I repeat some of the information because I don't know who's watching when. There are timestamps usually in the videos, so this one I'll keep it very short. But what am I talking about? This is all regarding autoimmune diseases, digestive issues, and the fact that our food is extremely chemically ridden, and which that's the part that you might say, oh yeah, no shit, but I'm talking about our organic foods, not our, the ones that we know that you grab off the shelf and you obviously imagine and assume that it's, it has preservatives. But I'm talking about the meats and the meat processing and what kind of toxic chemicals are being injected into our food, our organic food that we do not know about, that is misleadingly labeled as organic, that even in FDA, USDA, FSIS, all of these websites, they constantly do all these studies and they label these acids as organic acids. So there's a huge lie and misperception about our food and what's in it. So I think that's what the main cause of a lot of these issues are: digestive, autoimmune, and so on. I tested that idea by going to a third world country where they don't have fancy labs and chemicals to spoil the food like that. They don't have access to these chemicals, and it's just not utilized in their lives. And I had no issues. In United States, I cannot stay healthy for the life of me. It's very, very difficult to manage it. Whereas, I have reaction to wheat and gluten. I have reaction to dairy. I have reaction to meat. I have just about anything. And finally, I was able to see that the underlying common denominator of all of this was, citric acid, lactic acid, acetic acid, all of these acids that surprised me when I found out that was in my beef and every other food that I would eat in the United States. In the third world country for 2 months, I ate just about everything, including wheat. For those of you who know me, you know that I had, for the last 15 years, I thought I had celiac disease. I had severe wheat allergies. So in Armenia, I actually even ate wheat and drank wine and had cheese, and I had no reaction. I had no reaction to real food whatsoever. I digested the food perfectly fine. I felt incredible. So again, apologies for repeating some of this, but if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen my other videos, this is what this is all about. But in today's video, I want to jump into something called clean labeling, and it's fascinating. Why and how is this even out there? It's amazing. In my last video, I mentioned how FSIS just basically lobbied to not disclose these poisonous chemicals in the food. And you also may know from the last videos that I had contacted USDA, and they sent me all of the chemicals that they do use in meat processing, poultry, eggs, and so on and so forth, that in the labeling it will just say not required to label. Basically, none of these acids are required to label in any stage of the processing, and there's just so much of it, and it's 76 pages of what kind of processes things go through, from the beef being washed to this to anyway, let me not get back into that. But again, those chemical lists are these, Europe defines them by the E number. So instead of saying citric acid, lactic acid, whatever, they will say E330, E370, E360. And this way people know it's just the chemical, the preservative is in their food. And it's also short and sweet, so you don't have to, overwhelm the label. So this is what was very interesting. Under these E number lists, I noticed this thing called clean label, and I was like, interesting, what's a clean label? And as I clicked on that, check this out. A clean label is a label on a food not listing ingredients that may be perceived by consumers as undesirable. So they're not listing ingredients. Not they're taking out the ingredients, not listing them. Substances having a negative connotation, for example, food additives like food coloring, flavors, or preservatives, are avoided. The packaging may explicitly display positive claims like natural, without coloring and preservatives, no artificial preservatives, etc. The pursued use of clean labels is called clean labeling. The purpose is to give food products a natural, healthy appearance and to stimulate the sale of them. It does not necessarily mean that the product is free from additives, as they can be hidden in substituting ingredients. This is absolutely unbelievable. How is this even online? Like, this goes to show how everything is right in front of us. We're just so blinded. Our perception has been constantly just deterred to look somewhere else. Hey, shiny object, look there. There's so many of these types of misleading perceptions that we just miss. In the first video, I mentioned how we think of processing foods as like this garbage food, right? Like McDonald's and all the shelf foods and canned foods and whatever. And yes, those are very heavily processed, and that's what we think when we say processed foods. We definitely do not think organic produce and organic beef and meat and grass-fed, farm-raised, cage-free, whatever. Like, we don't think of all of those things as heavily processed, but they're equally as heavily processed. It's not disclosed to us. So to continue this ridiculousness, okay. So we read what clean label is on food. It just doesn't list ingredients. Background. The primary purpose of clean labels is to address the consumer's concerns about substances in food that may adversely affect their health. Manufacturers want to present their food as natural and healthful. What? Like what? From the consumer's perspective, a clean label is a label that is easy to read without difficult names and incomprehensible codes such as E-numbers. Oh yeah, it's so difficult to read E-numbers like E330. Like we don't know how to read, and we don't know how to read numbers. So we're gonna like do you a big favor, you stupid dumb Fs, not to disclose anything so that you're good. You know what a garlic is. You don't need to read E330 next to your garlic. That's too difficult for you. I mean, look at this language. This is disgusting. This is so demeaning and so disrespectful. So from the customer's perspective, a clean label is a label that is easy to read without difficult names and incomprehensible codes such as E-numbers. In general, they prefer natural products free from artificial ingredients and allergens, no use of GMO, minimally processed foods, simple and short ingredient list, and transparent packaging. Customers distrust color additives, preservatives, flavors. Yeah. So, am I misreading something? Is this like clearly, like, how is this real? Is this saying that consumers are concerned about their health and all these preservatives they don't trust, they don't want to see it, and they just they don't want to see it. Not that they don't want it in their food, they just don't want to see it. We're just going to remove it and not disclose it. And what is this, like when an ostrich just puts its hand in the sand and nothing else exists? I mean, this is unbelievable to me that I'm reading this right there on Wikipedia. Manufacturers may just try to follow the customer's demand and deliver a healthy product. The clean label may also list deliberately used substituting ingredients that contain the same additives that consumers don't like. For example, fruit or vegetable extracts. Consumers may be misled by clean label if the food contains substances that are in fact the same as artificial additives, like the E-numbers. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have words that this is just plain inside, just written like this. So I did a quick research, just kind of like clean label, and I saw this clean label project, which I'm assuming maybe this is how it started. Some people wanted to advocate for clean labeling, but it backfired. maybe. I don't know. I need to look more into it. Although there's some language that makes me be skeptical about this stuff too. Kind of like, I don't know. They seem to be a little bit of friends of FDA, which I don't think if FDA is friends of ours. But again, I mean, I guess anything you want to push, you would have to still push through those organizations. So it looks like maybe it started like this, where some people wanted clean labeling, and what happened instead is this is a legal look at the definition of a clean label. It's some lawyer is going through. I'm not going to read all this, but just basically takes a legal look at it, and result seems to be this. You don't want to see what's in your food? That's fine. You don't have to. We'll just remove it. I mean, it's easy. Okay, that's what I wanted to bring up. I'll keep it a lot shorter than my previous videos, and maybe this is what I need to do to keep it bite-sized a little bit, because when I go into all these PDFs, it's I mean, it's so much information that it's just my head starts spinning. It's harder to cohesively bring this into a storyline, so maybe I should just address each one of the things that I find interesting separately in a short video. So anyway, that's that. I'll wrap up this video. See you next time.